Hey Jay, play that track.
All right, everybody. I know it has been a minute. 4 weeks, I think, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's been a while. I've been busy. School has been kicking my ass. But once again, I would like to welcome you guys to another episode of Big Boy Banter. For the boys big and the banter be what? Sometime today, guns. Bussin'. All right. So I got a guest tonight. Hopefully, I got other folks supposed to be showing up, but I think everybody's on Color People Time tonight. And I understand because, it's Thanksgiving. And, people drinking and whatever the other foolishness. But without further ado, let my guest in the building. And she can introduce herself when she comes in.
Hello.
How you doing?
Okay, my
Just,
name is Monique. Oh, should I say my last name? No, I'm not gonna say my
nah,
last
you ain't
name.
got to do all that. It ain't they business.
Yeah, my name is Monique. I love to talk. Got some um, interesting topics to go over tonight. Love to talk about. So I'm excited. Definitely excited.
Gotcha. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, everybody come on, so I gotta give you.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So welcome aboard. Yeah, I think everybody on Color People Time tonight. So how you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Uh,
I'm I'm tired. School and working is kicking my tail. It's
Who you
kicking my
telling?
tail, to be honest with you. But I'm pushing through, trying to get through it and, see the end goal. See the end goal.
You probably a lot further than I am in school. I'm still technically a freshman, and I'm just like, what was I smoking to go back into school?
Well, no, because nothing that I had at ULM transferred over.
Wow.
Um, so I had started school again in 2021. So I had 12 credits that transferred over from there, which was good, which was good.
That's a start.
But the way that my school is set up, we do 8-week terms. So you take 2 classes for the 8-week terms. So it's supposed to be like an accelerated process. Um, which is not bad, but sometimes we have 3-4 assignments to do a week. And so it's a lot of research, it's a lot of reading, yeah, I kind of feel like if I would have just been smart and finished school when I first went to school,
That's usually how I go.
when I didn't have to work too and take care of home and everything else, like I could have been had this out the way. Could have been had this
Yeah,
out the way.
I agree. Because 3 jobs, 4 kids, and a wife is like in school is
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, I got you. I got you.
yeah. All right, well then let's get to it. First topic: domestic violence in the community and Kiki Palmer, since that was the segue into what's going on. And for a background, I'm not 100% sure. I just know there's a video that popped up and it allegedly showed her baby's father, child father, however you want to say it, attacking her. And from my understanding, that she filed a restraining order. From my understanding, she's been staying with her mom, and she has custody of the child right now. And this whole situation has went from Ursha dancing on her and her having her cakes out, to now we have domestic violence going on. So, and that's a serious thing. So, where you want
Oh,
to start with that? Because I'm not that. I mean, that's a lot.
yeah, I think honestly, from what I've seen, I think it started before the whole Usher thing.
Mm.
I don't think I think that may have been like a segue part of it, but I think it started before the whole Usher thing. Because I think some of the video was from even last year as well, earlier this year, last year. So I think it's been going on. I think maybe something happened not too long ago that was kind of like her final straw to kind of go ahead and do the whole protective order thing. But it's been so interesting though, because so many people always, anytime something happened with a celebrity or just in general, people have like this, like, oh, like, well, why she stay with him? Like, it always be, whatever the case may be. So I pulled some numbers because I thought it was interesting. Because I was like, okay, so like, how prevalent is domestic violence? And I pulled them because I know people be like, well, women be doing da 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 with men too. So it says 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience some form of physical violence in relationships. And it's actually probably more than that, just because they think, most people really don't ever report it, especially men and things like that. And then it was also talking about too, like, why people stay and stuff like that, where it's like fear of what the abuser may do, lack of faith in the criminal justice system,
It's a big one.
yeah, exactly, like financial dependence and stuff like that on the abuser. That's not Kiki's case, but in like a normal person's case, that might be the case. But it kind of made me feel like too, like, I don't know if like a lot of people know too, but it made me think about like a situation that like I was in, where, because I am a domestic violence, I guess you could say, survivor.
Yeah.
And I mean, I stayed for years. Um, and the thing about it was like, I think when it's going on, at first it starts off with the apologies. The apologies they may sound very sincere. This will never happen again. I'm so sorry. I love you. You may get gifts, you may get promises, whatever, whatever. And then it'll, as it progresses and it goes on, if you have kids, then it may be like you want to stay for the kids. You find all kind of reasons to end up staying. And I think too, a lot of people just don't want to admit that the relationship they were in failed. I think that has a big, I guess, part to play in it as well. But I don't think we should ever judge someone in that situation, because I think a lot of times a lot of people think they are the exception. They think it won't be them, that it can't be them. You should never say never. I think we should always think about that. You should never say never, because you never know. Um, but I thought that was really interesting, because that's crazy and it sucks too, because I mean, she's a celebrity. She's not the first celebrity, but she's a celebrity. You know, we saw the whole dress debacle when she went to see Usher and how he reacted to that. So it's
Right.
just kind of like, dang, like now she filing a restraining order against this man.
It sounds like
Like,
something been going on for a while. You
yeah,
just never know. I mean, and first of all, I'm glad that you're still here, because there are stories where there are people they didn't make it. So it's good to see that you're still here. I don't I don't know. I mean, I don't go around fighting my wife. Um
I'm
and
glad to know that.
she don't go around. I mean, she done beat me a few times, but not like that. It's something. Working in the legal system for as long as I did, I've seen my fair share of domestic violence situation. I've seen probably more than most people have in their whole life. It's I mean, I don't want to spend a whole episode on it, but I can go for days. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot. The women who will call the police Tuesday and be back Thursday trying to drop the charge. The in court they don't want to testify. They don't want to say anything. But like I can see the pictures. I got copies of the exhibits. I'm like, damn. Like I didn't know what else to say, but damn, like he whooped your ass. And I'm not saying to be funny, but you took that and like you're saying it wasn't that serious. You can say like I want to give him another chance, but when you say stuff like it wasn't that serious, and I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, you have two black eyes. It was serious,
Yeah.
and just a lot of women. I don't know, and like like a lot of the guys, it was always like the same scenario where Midland person, and I know that some women deal with it on a higher level, but the average was most of the guys wasn't really doing nothing. They didn't really have much going for them, and it's like it's the dating market that bad that you have to stay with somebody like that, but you can't judge people because you just don't know. I just would pray for a lot of them, and then a lot of them was embarrassed because they went to school with me, or I knew them from outside world, and they'd be like, I wouldn't say nothing because my job required me not to say nothing, but it was just kind of hard to talk to them. They didn't want to talk. They would try to act like it didn't happen or they didn't see me, but it's like it's okay. Like I deal with this all the time, so you're not the first person I know, and you're not going to be the last person, unfortunately, that I know that come in here. Um, I just wish it was better ways to handle stuff because what seems to be the norm is men usually are the aggressors as far as physically, and women are the aggressors as far as verbally. And it's something that you see in a growing
Yeah.
trend on both sides where, men are quick to hit and women are quick to hit with their words. And it's better ways to solve fights, arguments, issues, differences. It's really what it is. It's just a world of differences. And instead of us working together to fix them, it's more like we'd rather take these routes, and I hate it because I mean our court was small. We didn't deal with the fatalities, but some people didn't make it, men and women, and it's a sad thing. We made a lot of jokes about Kiki and her baby daddy, but I kind of look back now and I kind of feel bad because I didn't know all this was going on, and we never know what's going on in somebody's home.
Right.
Yeah, have to be more gracious with people because you just don't know. You look at it now and it looks just like a guy trying to fight for his family at first and say, hey, I didn't like that she did that, to now it looks like a guy who has control issues and is
Yeah.
abusive. So it's like I can't defend you no more, dog, because
Right.
everything points towards you being the problem, not her. So as far
You
as
just
a
have to be
community,
careful.
yeah, that's the big thing. You got to be careful, and it's kind of hard because you hear guys who unfortunately might look like me. And you think nothing that happened that's crazy, and then you got guys who do look crazy that's crazy. You just like you can't judge it. Same thing for the women. You get with a woman, you think she's nice and kind, and then she cuts you out and say you ain't no man, something like that. You just
Yeah.
it's a game we got to play on both sides. I don't know.
It really is. It really is. Cause I know you talk about the whole court thing. I've been in two domestic violence situations. The last one, I went to court with this person. Like when he has to go to court, I literally went to court with him to see if they were going to drop the charges against him. When he has to go pay his fine that I went with him to take him to pay the court fine. Like, and now I'm laughing about it. It's not a funny situation, but like, obviously hindsight is 2020. When I
Yeah.
look back on it, I'd be like, what was I thinking? But in my head, like, I did not. I literally, first of all, I didn't want to let anybody know. I mean, obviously, anybody could have looked it up, but like, I didn't want people to know that the situation had happened. I didn't want us to break up. I didn't. I didn't want people to know what was really going on because, it was just a whole bunch of stuff that was going through my head at the time. And I was just like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. And I think that's why my feelings towards the situation are so complicated now, because it's just like, I don't know.
I
Like,
understand.
I don't know.
I could tell like a lot of women that would come in, you could tell they had a confused look. Like even where there was one time where the judge was like, the dude had his girlfriend there and he had his baby mama there. And you could tell there was just a weird dynamic there until even the judge was like, hey, you need to dump him. Like I never heard him talk like that in court. And he's
Yeah.
like, dump him because they got too much going on that I can see and everybody in this courtroom can see. They got still something going on. And you're trying to pay his stuff, but she's like telling you what to do, and like, they having a whole side conversation where you're the one paying. That's your boyfriend. Yeah, that might be the child's mother, but something ain't adding. I mean, and I knew the person, so of course we talked about it, and she admitted like some months later, like, yeah, that was crazy because the judge was right. Everything there was still stuff going on, and all of it is crazy.
Yeah.
That's usually the best way I can describe it because it's not funny, but it's just like the stuff you see, and you just be like, I can't explain. And that's just the domestic side. That's not even all the other stuff I saw. That's just that one issue. I would say this, and so we can move on to the next topic. Being on the criminal justice side of it, what makes it hard is that a lot of people don't understand what it does to the whole department. And when I say department, it starts from the moment you call the police, the moment you have these people who work in the police department type of reports, the moment it goes to the prosecutors or the city attorneys or the DA, the moment those clerks in there has to do all this paperwork, the moment the clerks in the clerk's office has to do all this paperwork, all of these people are having to deal with one case, and it's a lot that goes into it. And you call the police Thursday, and Friday you want to drop it. Everybody done put in all this work. Everybody
Yeah.
done wasted, and I'm not saying wasted time, but it's a lot that went into that. And you're like, nah, I made a mistake. And if you got 20 women that did it Friday, 20 women that do that Saturday, that's why, at least from that perspective, why people have the mindset of not believing. And I hope
Yeah.
I never, I always said I never want to get to that point at work. And I never did. At least I left saying I still believe in people. But when you have that many people who do that, and how irritating it becomes because everybody's doing all this paperwork and all this police work and all this investigating and all this arresting, and you say, nah, just drop it. We just had a bad fight. It's a lot. So when people say why they don't believe us, well, it's kind of hard because the people who actually are victims get drowned out by the people who are saying, and there are some people that just play and call the police. You got that group and you got the group that's trying to dismiss stuff. And it affects everybody because now the human effect kicks in. They're like, nah, I ain't helping. I don't want to deal. I'm not going to rush over here. But you got to rush because you never know when it's serious. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah. I'm serious.
All right. Can people change? And if so, why do we have a hard time accepting that they have changed? Damn good question.
Now I
Can
definitely
they
wanted to talk about this one.
can they change? Okay, so I'll go first. Can people change? And I leave it up for a second for folks who want to read. Yes, the likelihood is no, but people can change. How do I know? I look in the mirror. I did not think I could change, and I did. Now I'm not 100% where I want to be, but who I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago is not the person I am now.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to accept the fact that I'm different, including the person I stay with, because you hear people say, okay, I want to be different. I want to change this. And then usually people don't change, I've been saying for years, I want to go to school. I've been saying I want to go to school. I dropped out. I dropped out in 2007. I've been saying I'm gonna go to school since then. I just started back 2023. So I've been saying it for 16 years. So of course, when you say it and nobody believes you, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm getting my shots. I had to get my shot records. This is last year around this time. I even saw a post recently that said that from a year ago. I'm getting shot records. I'm applying to this person. Like I'm showing people emails. I'm saying, hey, I'm in contact with people. And they're like, whatever, we don't believe you. And I'm like, no, for real, I'm going to school this time. And they like, you ain't going to school. You've been saying that since you dropped out. So I'm getting all my stuff. And so
Mhm.
when January comes and I show them, I post my schedule, like, hey, I'm in school. This is my schedule. I start Monday, and everybody's like, he was serious, and nobody believed me, and I almost didn't believe me. So I can understand just the whole learning how to what else I said I was gonna do this year. Learn how to focus on me. Like all that stuff I've been saying and nobody believed me, I did it this year. So now I see people having a hard time accepting that because I guess they thought I wasn't going to change, which I I get that. Um, I didn't I bombed the weight thing, but everything else I did. So, but you might have a different perspective. I'll let you go.
Um. So I'm in school for psychology.
Oh yeah.
So it's really interesting because I'll be honest, I don't want to say I didn't think people could change, but I was very skeptical if people could fully change. Just because I felt like, you know, you I think it was more so of an experience thing of people saying, oh no, I'm gonna change, and then never actually changing. But people can change. I think it just, like you said, it takes work. Because technically, I mean, you have your personality, you have your attitude, your traits, everything like that, and that's all formed pretty much by your environment, how you were raised. You know, it's pretty much your interactions, all of that. So, really, when you take a deeper look at it, sometimes you have to change your environment. Sometimes you have to change who you're interacting with. Sometimes, um, if it's a situation where, you've had childhood trauma and things like that, it takes going to therapy for you to really, I mean, you really do have to put in the work. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna change, and then you don't put in the work to do so. It really does take the work to do it. One thing that I thought was really interesting too is because I was reading this article. Let me see if I can find it. And this is actually, it was medically reviewed by a doctor of psychology. And she was like, let me see if I can find it. And it was saying that people who, where is it? Most people evolve and change over time. So our interests and our approach to the world changes, and our experiences change who we are and how we internalize and interpret the world around us. So pretty much when we change our characteristic, the patterns of our behaviors, our thoughts and emotions, that is pretty much saying that we are literally having to change our personality traits. Um, I mean, like I said, it goes deeper than just saying that. I mean, we want to change. And then, I mean, technically, I think what really triggered me, and that's why I say triggered, when I reached out to you about that was because I had saw a post. Everything
It's
that
usually
we
how it
talking
go.
about,
It's usually how
everything,
it goes.
yeah, I saw a post and it said, somebody had pretty much like shared it, and it says, I'm called according to his purpose, not your opinion. And I had commented on it, and I normally don't comment on people's posts. Like I might like it a little bit. And I was just like, I'm so thankful I'm not letting the opinion of others stop me from my purpose anymore. Because I honestly, I used to be so I used to be so worried about how people felt about me. I used to be so worried about how people thought about me and everything like that. Like, if somebody felt some type of way about me, like that would literally almost shut me down. I mean, it would make me not want to do anything I set my heart to. If they said, "Oh, I don't think that's a good idea," or if they said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," or "Oh, I don't think that's meant for you to do," or whatever the case is, I literally would like, I just would not do it. And so it was interesting because it made me then think about all the people who had their perception of me that maybe felt like I wasn't able to do certain things. And it made me think to myself, like, am I able to change that? Am I able to change how somebody sees me? Or am I able to change how somebody views me? And it made me kind of think, like, am I able to change myself? And then I realized, like, I don't really have to change. There may be things that I need to change, maybe being more outgoing or maybe being more vocal or something like that. But you know, I I don't know. Like it just kind of made me think about the whole thing of like, do we need to change or can we change? And like, do we worry about, do we need to worry about if people care if we change?
You know, it's weird because it's like I just made a TikTok recently about not caring about changing anymore. Like, and I be funny, but like I be serious though, because it's like I talked about the TikTok how you know people will fat shame me all the time, and I spent most of my life worrying about being fat. Like, just seriously, like worrying about how people looked at me. I would dress a certain way. I would talk a certain way. I would go places. I would like when I went in public and it was like people that I knew. I would barely eat. Folks don't believe me. I would barely eat around family because it made me feel self conscious. Like, oh, he had the thing again. It's like, damn, I'm hungry too. I mean, I get it. I'm
Yeah.
bigger than you, but I'm hungry too. So it's it went like that for years. Like, and I get on here and I had a lady I know who's a good friend of mine, a good family friend, and she was like, all of a sudden I see you always talking about you look good now. She's like, where did that come from? I was like, because I'm 35. I spent at least 32 years thinking I was ugly. And she was like, why? I was like, because I was fat. And she was like, but they don't go together. I said, when you growing up, it did go together. For some reason, that went together
Yeah.
hand in hand. And I said, I had to go back and look at, like, I said, maybe elementary, I had a weird look. I said, but like junior high to now, I was like, I was a nice looking person. And like I said, healing makes you angry because you look back and you like, I really let y'all affect my
Yeah.
thinking like this. Like there was nothing wrong with me, and y'all had me out here damn near suicidal because you know there's nothing wrong with me. I just was big. You just skinny or you just got a big head, and I just was big. But I let my big overlap everything around me, and it pissed me off. Like I be getting angry and I have to calm down. My therapist like, why are you so angry now? I'm like, because I'm finally healing, and I realized how stupid this
Yeah.
was to have this mindset. Oh, I got somebody that just came in. Hold on, audience. Coming to the stage. Who you
Your
mean?
girl
Oh, okay.
talk.
Hey,
You talk.
girl.
Welcome
Hey,
to the stage, Miss Conway. Hold on, I gotta get you. Do I still have to do hand claps for you? Are you?
no,
Yes, you do. Hold on.
I'm just
Come to the
me.
stage, Miss Eccentric Honey. Everybody.
You ain't even gotta be you so extra. I'm sorry I'm tardy to the party, but I was busy cooking.
Go. Okay.
Yeah.
We was talking about can people change, and I don't know how much you heard, but she
Man,
explained how she looked at it from the psychology. Oh, is it psychological? I might have got the word wrong.
psychological.
Psychological
Okay, anyway, side of
standpoint.
things where how you have to learn that people can evolve and change as time goes. And then I was talking about, at first I talked about how you can change, and I use me as an example. And then I talked about just now about how being fat shame made me think I was ugly. And now I realize, there was nothing wrong with me. We just kind of jumped off into that. And then you
Yeah.
came in. And that's what we had. So what say ye?
Okay. I say people can change and people will change. You need to. It's important for growth because no one wants somebody who's just going to stay the same forever. I think it's important people grow and yeah, mentally. You got to.
Yeah.
Depends. Some people might like, no man.
Now I know like the other part of the question the other day I didn't answer. A lot of people are comfortable with how people are. That's how we are. We need a routine. That's why people get stuck in their routines and they get comfortable that way. So some people can deal with change with other people, but it is hard because it's like I've adjusted to who you are and now I have to learn to
Readjust.
trust. Yeah, learn to trust your judgment and that hope that this is for the better because people do change for the worse, but just in case, I mean, I
Yeah.
change a lot.
And I'm
I done
exhausted.
been through
I'm just gonna
I
be
done
honest.
been
I'm
through
exhausted.
a million phases, but
Yes.
you just keep adjusting with me. And I know, I mean, I know it's a lot, but hopefully it hasn't all been just like too dramatic. Or I hope it hasn't been something that's just now I'm throwing your life in a loop. I know if it's just me and it's not bothering you, then you like, okay, do your thing. See how that works out for you. But yeah. But I try to grow for the better and experience new things safely, hopefully.
I'm being
Yeah.
quiet because we talked about domestic violence first. So I ain't trying to get beat up once this video is over.
What? Cut it out. Ain't nobody ever hit you. I smacked you on your butt before. I done smacked you on your butt before. But no, I mean, we've just been through a lot in our lives. So I got comfortable being a certain way, which was also, an issue between both of us. Um, just being the same way. And then we were young and we were just in a routine and we just needed to experience different things and grow up and gain new perspectives from other people. So I think that was very important for us to grow to who we are now. And it was needed.
Okay. I can't argue some of that. So I'll, move
Well,
on
I
from
want to know
that.
what part you want to argue. Let's argue.
Well, I mean, you talking about some changing ain't detrimental, dude. Do you know how much you change? You know how many times you have changed your hair alone? Just how
But
many
see,
times you have changed
that
your hair?
that's not hurting, but that's me discovering what I like, and I like to change my hair. I like to switch it up. And then I realized I like, dealing with beauty. That's just me growing as a person. That's something, me just finding out who I am. That's why I
Because
said it's okay for people to, try, as long as you're not hurting anybody or causing any rift between something. Other than that, I think you're fine.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing, but I do this for a living, so I'm just segueing what we'll be talking about now to the next topic, because we don't know what to expect when we get with people, and we are a lot of times confused on what we actually want. So now I have to ask the question: do we really know what to expect or ask for in a relationship? Because I think a lot of times we are completely, and I would say this. I got two ladies, so I know I'm about to get jumped, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Men don't know what the hell to expect in a relationship from a woman, especially if it's like a good relationship. We don't know because we've been conditioned to just provide, and you guys have been conditioned to just expect it back. Nobody has ever said this is what you should expect as a man. This is what you have to do as a man. You're supposed to provide, you're supposed to protect, you're supposed to make sure your kids are straight, you're supposed to love your woman, be fake. Like, we hear all that, but I never hear what you're supposed to expect back. So a lot of guys in the relationships, and what they tell you is when a guy finally starts to realize what he wants in life, they use this term midlife crisis and say, oh, he's tripping because now he's realizing there's more to life than just working every day, paying bills every day, and everything else.
Well, that sounds like you're saying all men go through a midlife crisis and they don't know what they want until they get old.
Because they spend so much of that, we don't know. Like a lot of times, you guys, like for instance,
That's
you.
not necessarily true. Some
I'm not
dudes
saying
just
it's not.
realizing they're getting old and they want to be young again.
Okay, I said I was going to deal with a fight here, so what I'm saying is,
It ain't no fight.
I mean, but I'm just saying like a lot of guys don't know what to expect. But and then when the guy, and I feel like a lot of guys when they do ask for stuff, it's like, why you asking for something? Like I don't
Like it's
know. I just feel like
frightening.
I need something different. Like, is there more to me than just working? Is there more to me than just provide? Is there more to me than if somebody comes in the house, I got to jump and take a bullet? Like what else? What am I supposed to ask for back? And usually all we know is sex, and it's like, okay, that's nice. I appreciate that. I appreciate what comes with that. I appreciate, and then a lot of people throw things in like, well, you can expect basic relationship stuff. Man, I'm like, okay, but like, is there like there are certain things you want me to do, and I'm like, okay, do a lot of men don't know how to do that back. They don't know how to sit down and have a conversation to be like, this is what I want for you. I want to hold hands with you. I want to sit in you, and this, like, a lot of guys don't know how to ask for that back because they don't know what they're supposed to ask for. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of guys have just been conditioned to just do stuff, but we don't know what to say to y'all back to like match that energy
If
and
you
not
repeat
get
that one
burned
more
out.
time.
What,
I
match that energy?
I think
I'm listening. I'm sorry. I know I talked too much on that one.
I think and I think that's a problem. And the reason I say I think that's the problem is because this probably about to go all over the world. I'm trying not to go all over the world. But I I think we have in society, and this isn't anything new, but I think we have this huge, and I'm gonna call it an issue. And maybe it's not an issue, but we have this whole um gender expectations of what the man does and what the woman does. I think when you get into a relationship with somebody, if you like somebody, you need to be sitting down from get discussing what you want out of a relationship. You need to be talking to that person from jump about literally what your expectations are, what you want out of the relationship. Because what may work for you in your relationship may not work for somebody else in the relationship. You can't take relationship advice. Now you could. I ain't gonna say that. Let me not say that. You can't take relationship advice from somebody else just because you think their relationship is all rainbows and butterflies. It could be, but that may be the dynamic that works for them as two separate individuals. You and your person are completely two different people. So I think it really comes down to not discussing that with other people, which I think ends up being the problem. I think a lot of times people get ideas of what their expectations are from the outside world. Like when it comes down to guys being like you said, they're told you're supposed to provide. Yeah, okay, that's what people expect. But when you sit down with your partner and you say, well, I'm supposed to provide, you need to be talking to your partner about what does me providing look like for you.
Mm-hmm.
True,
When
I agree with
you
that.
sit down and say, if your woman says, I want to be loved such and such a way, okay, well, what does me loving you look like? You know what I mean? Like you need to be having those type of conversations so there can be a clear understanding between you and your partner. Not what, because you can use the word protect and provide, but you need to have understanding between you and your partner about it. Not what everybody else say. Because all these people running around here telling us some, yeah, I did da 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 da. Me and my wife, we be doing da 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 da. We be da da da. You don't know what they
Mm-hmm.
be really doing behind closed doors.
Yeah.
That's true. I agree with that. And I think that's what maybe that's the issue is lack of communication from both sides, and I think everybody is trying to one size fit all relationships, and you can't. No two relationships gonna be alike. There are some things that are similar you can ask advice for and get help on, but I think ultimately it boils down to what you and that person is okay with, because some women are okay with 50-50, some okay with 75-25, some okay with 89, 11. Everybody's different. And
I don't know
I
why I
think
thought you
what
was
has
gonna mess
happened
up
is
these percentages.
good. I do this for you don't come on now, all this math I've been doing. Come on now. Um a lot of people just you a hater. A lot of people just, look, I struggle with learning how to do common core math. Regular math, I'm a beast. It's that stuff that I'm learning because I have to learn how to teach kids this stuff. This way is why I'm struggling. But back to this topic. Um it's you made me lose my train of thought. It's each person's own perspective on relationships. And like when I do videos now, and I see in the past, I used to do videos giving advice. I used to say it from a certain, but now I tell people what works for you and your person is what counts. Don't get swayed by social media. Don't get swayed by some of these relationship gurus around here, because you don't know. Like I know people who get flued out and getting cheated on in the same weekend. So I mean, you just you don't know. And I would say I never try to look at other people like I used to, but I don't do that no more. It's like I don't know what goes on in your. I said no more. I don't know what goes on in your life. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't said nothing.
I okay. Your floor is
I ain't
yours. Go
said
ahead.
nothing.
No, your face said everything. Yeah.
Um, I think yes, people should. Matter of fact, I made a TikTok about this a while ago. People would be a lot happier if they did sit down at the beginning of their relationship and just be honest and tell them what you want in a relationship, because you don't want to get in something and realize that that person doesn't want to get married, or this person, you know, wants to travel a lot in their relationship, and a lot of different scenarios. Everybody should get that out, but it's a lot of people, grew up a certain way. So maybe their mom or dad weren't in stable relationships. So sometimes they get in a relationship and it's just like, okay, just survive, just make it, just work, take care of kids, you have sex, everything is just basic. And actually, I learned that, because I don't want to say that we were kind of like that, but yeah, it wasn't till I started seeing like more things on social media regarding relationships. Now, I'm not looking to be flown out across the country every year and do this and that because we got kids. So you got to live in realistic, terms regarding your financial situation. But I have learned some things from social media about relationships, the positive type stuff. So people do need to sit down and let people decide what they're willing to handle. Because some guys be like, okay, this just me. I can't be faithful. Let a person decide what they're willing to take in a relationship. And I mean, you can't expect that, okay, I like this girl. She's gonna just be a housewife because that's what I expect her. And yeah, I'll bring home all the money. That may not be what she expects. So a good, thorough conversation is what every relationship needs because you may have somebody that's not used to a certain thing, and a guy is like, okay, well, I want to travel every year. She may not be used to that, but she can, be swayed by that. And it can cause her to change. Well, like, I want to go to different countries, I want to learn different things. That could be a positive change through those.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess.
Initial
I guess. It just
conversation.
all depends.
Initial conversation.
But I guess
Make
you
a
touched
difference.
on, both of you have touched on one big thing is Catrice, you mentioned how you was raised, and Monique, you mentioned childhood trauma. And I think that's just really what Gen Y issue is that we're trying to beat the cycle, and it's hard because we got bad examples and we got trauma with those bad examples. A lot of us have seen we've seen everything. We've lived everything, and we're trying to be the generation to start the change, and it's so hard because a lot of us don't know what to do. What you smiling about? Don't know what to do,
We're
and
millennials.
that's Gen Y. You do
Well,
know that, right?
I'd rather you just say millennials because I was like, what?
Oh my God, X is our parents. We're Y.
I didn't say nothing, but nobody ever says Generation Y. They say millennials.
Millennials. We're millennials, and we've seen
Stop trying to
everything.
read my face. I didn't interrupt you. Just keep going.
You did. In our perspective is we're trying to figure out with no guidance really how to fix it, because a lot of times in the past it's like I realized like in year 3 or 4 of marriage I want with my kids, and it's just like that's kind of hard to just come home one day and just like I don't want to do that, because it's like I don't want to keep repeating that cycle. Could I have been a little bit harsher sometimes? Yeah, but I, I don't
Yeah.
want to be I don't want to be known as beat them dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to show them some love, and I feel like what was missing for my dad and what was missing for me was a father figure to show some love, and I wanted to be that because I feel like if you got love from mom and dad, you get two different perspectives. It is going to help balance you out versus this hard way of father should just be hard or something, and it's like nah, we got just as much love as moms do. It's just in a different way. And like once you understand that, I think you can be better with it. And once I kind of like I put this year in perspective to do that, my relationship with all three of my kids and even with Malik, my stepson, got better because I learned how to change how I approached all four of them. I realized I got to approach each one of them differently, and it takes work. Everything I've done, like you said, it's work. I had to learn how to come at my middle daughter, how to talk to my youngest daughter. I already had a decent relationship with my oldest daughter, but I even was able to unlock something different with her. It's all about how do you approach relationships, I think. And I think a lot of people don't know how. Whether it's people who had a lot of relationships or people who only had one, we all seem to be sucking at it as a group right now. So it's like some people say, well, you ain't got enough experience. Well, a lot of y'all got experience and y'all ain't shit either. So it's the approach is the problem. We are walking into this trying to look for something. Nobody wants to provide anything anymore. And I don't know. I just, not to ramble like I do on TikTok sometimes. I just think that we just got to figure out a way to know how to approach each other and have decent and honest conversations, like you said, Patrice. That's the best way to do it.
I think the most important thing for our generation, and not just our generation, but any generation, is to be able to have conversations and not let our egos be bruised by the things that come out. Because I think a lot of times we do want to have honest conversations. I think, but a lot of times, sometimes delivery may be a little harsh. So we need to learn how to deliver the message that we're trying to get across. And then when that message is delivered, we need to learn how to take it and not be easily offended by what's being said. And I think a lot of times that does not happen because, a lot of times people say something, we be ready to fight, we be ready to cuss them out, we be ready to whatever the case may be. And I think if we could get to a point where we really could have conversations like that, then I think it would be so much better. We would have such a better relationship with each other as men and women, as women with other women, men and men. It wouldn't seem so like, oh, men being sassy, women being feisty. It wouldn't be so much like that because we would have a better understanding of each other. We would be able to really, you know what I'm saying? We would be able to get along a lot better. And once we're able to understand each other better and get along with each other, then we would be able to move forward and have better relationships. I just think that.
I agree. That's real. That's real. Miss Conway, you got anything else to add to that? She just went away. I don't know where she went. I don't know. As Alexa plays in my background, I never turn off for this show, but she just disappeared. But I don't know. She had a moment or something. She's trying to push buttons. Let's try to bring her back, people.
That's what happened. I pushed a button on my phone.
Stop pushing buttons. Stop trying to get on Facebook while you on the middle of a show.
I'm not. I'm not. I pushed the button.
You was doing something.
No, I pushed the chat button and
I'm so weak.
Always
first off, don't be busting me out. Just know I'm
always touching something. You don't know how to just be still. Your ADD, ADHD be acting up. Just be still for a second. Let me get you a fidget spinner.
Whatever.
Anything you need to add before I try to go to this last little thing and end the show on a funny note, positive note? All right. So to understand and recap, we understand that basically we all need to talk beginning of a relationship. For people who watch and listening here, talk at the beginning, get the shit out early. If you don't want this, say you don't want this. If you do want something, say you want it. It's up to that person if they want it or not. That's the gist of it. Don't get in your feelings. If you don't want the person after that, move the hell along. Stop wasting people's time in 2023 going to 24. All right.
Oh, I got a question. How do you handle someone when y'all have been together for a while and now they want to change? Y'all never had the initial conversation. So how do you go about having
you asking me that question? You asking me that question?
Yeah, this your show.
Don't handle it terrible like I did. That's all I would say first off. How do you handle? Okay, so since I know I screwed up at first, let's see.
Yeah, I'm not saying yeah to you. Just like when you both finally realize, hey, we need a conversation of, though you've been together for a long, what have you expected? Because I mean, you could have had rifts that whole time because you guys just didn't understand that. So how do you go back and fix that? Because then you could probably not
Patience,
agree.
patience, and understanding, and killing ego. And killing ego is the biggest one because your pride will be hurt. Now, I don't care who you are. Whichever side comes with you, with whatever they feel, your pride is going to be hurt. You're going to have to make a decision then. Can you handle it? And you want to fight for it, or if you want to run? And that's pretty much what you're going to be left with. If you want to try to fix it, and if you want to try to work with that person, then you're going to have to put in the work and be patient with them. And you got to see it through. As long as it's not disrespecting you, I would say give it a shot. Now,
Because there
what's
are
your
some people with a
definition?
midlife crisis, and then they
I'm
be
finna
like, "All right,
explain.
well, I want to do this and I want to do that." It's
Okay,
like,
everybody has a different definition of what they can take, their threshold, and what's disrespect. You will know if it's disrespectful to you or not, what they're asking and what they're saying. It's upon you then if you want to make that choice to stay or leave, because nobody needs to be disrespected. And it might not be disrespect in the sense of intentional, but it might be what they want is something way away from what you want. If you do stay, ego got to go out the window. And also, when that person, I guess, figure out what's going on, they got to understand that it can flip at that point, because that type of stuff usually changes not just one person, it usually changes two people. So, well, you might be saying, I want to do this and that. The other person might be like, well, guess what? I want to do this and that too. So it can cause a ripple effect on both sides. I would say, once again, patience. Like, that's really the biggest thing. You got to be super patient and you got to be super understanding. And if the goal is still the same from both of y'all, I think you'll be okay. Now, if the goal changes, then I don't really see it working, because if somebody's like, I want to be the superstar stripper of this world, and you don't like strippers, I don't know what you're going I don't know what you're gonna do at the end, because that's their lifelong dream is to be a stripper, and you don't like strippers. So I think that, buddy, you have to let that type of situation go. I mean, I use it in an extreme situation, but if somebody, let's say, wants to move to North Dakota, that's been a dream, and start a family there, and you don't, you're gonna have to weigh out those options and see what you really want to do. Some people can work it out and say, okay, I'll move with you, and some people say no. It's really dependent upon you. It's really dependent upon you. And we like to hold on, like you say, but if if it's right, you'll know. If it's right, you'll know. Don't listen to these streets though. Don't be going out here trying to get all these answers from other people, because their life isn't your life. And what your man or woman do isn't what their man or woman do. Everybody's different. That's what I would say to that. Amen. That would have been a perfect segue to this topic, but a certain friend of ours couldn't make it tonight. And goddamn it, since he ain't here, I'm not gonna do that topic. I'm gonna save it again for someone. Sick of saving this topic. They keep complaining about it, but I do something else instead to end the show. So, how do y'all feel about the ceiling challenge? On the way out the door. I mean, I got something to say, but I
I
don't want to get canceled. But y'all go ahead.
I didn't know what it was. Well, I had heard
I
people
still
talk
don't know
about
what
it,
it is.
but
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
really aware of what it was.
So you take your cell phone and you tape it to the ceiling, and the camera's pointing down at you, and the women are twerking and whatever, dancing half naked. That's a challenge. Tape your stuff on the ceiling, and like most of them on the bed. That's why I want to
What you
go in the
mean half
kitchen.
naked
You know
and
how
like a bra or panties?
Some people were. The most of the women I seen was like pretty much naked.
I
Is
don't.
that on TikTok?
I'd have to see it
TikTok, Facebook,
because
Instagram.
I saw
I'm gonna
somebody
show
say
you.
something
I'm gonna
about
show
it,
you.
but
I'm gonna show you the one that was in the kitchen.
I mean, but it's an aerial view. What's I don't really see the appeal. I'd have to see the video.
Because you can see them cakes from up top. That's what the appeal is.
I feel like that's something I would send to my man if I had one. Maybe not for the internet.
I
Exactly.
I
I'm just tired of all the twerking. I mean, they just showing a different view of it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would think you could see someone's ass and get more enjoyment out of just looking at it from behind than an aerial view.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me put it to y'all in this perspective. When Mercedes started dancing upside down, did that not appeal better than her dancing normally on that stripper pole? When she got up there and was dancing on the ceiling, did that not
Oh,
catch
because
your
I'm like, who was Mercedes? You talking about P Valley?
P Valley? Yes.
You talking about P Valley? Oh,
Wasn't that a
I've never
spectacle to
seen
see?
Peak
Wasn't that
Valley,
something?
but let me tell you
What?
something. I think it's always the strength that them women be having on them. I always think that's amazing. So I'm always more in awe of that, if anything, because I'm like, wow, like
I did some pole
dang.
classes. That it is hard. It's a freaking
But
workout.
Freaking stripper.
I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen P Valley. I've never seen that. So
Anyway,
Okay. What?
I'm tired of ass challenges. Move on.
It was
I ain't got
it
enough
was a
ass, so I don't care.
scene. Girl, be quiet.
I don't even.
You
I
said
ain't
you
got enough ass for all this, so I don't even care.
I don't
Forget
even
them.
follow that.
anyway. She got up on a pole and she climbed up. It like the scene. It got quiet. It quieted everything out. You just heard her, and she climbed all the way to the top, and she made her feet touch the ceiling, and she started dancing upside down. And I was like, "This motherfucker is true." So,
You was
if,
excited, huh?
I was, I was watching it with you, so you can't say how you watching this on your own. But the challenge. Fuck it. This big boy bouncer. We always end the show on for my boy Jared. I'm going out with a bang. As a man who believes in saying good things about women and want y'all to be better, I'm so fucking sick and tired of seeing all this. Like, I like it as a man to look at. Visually, they're visual creatures. Of course, I'm gonna look at somebody shaking their ass. I'll be honest. But as a man who believes that I feel like black women should stop degrading themselves in this manner, on the other flip side, I wish I would stop doing all these damn challenges. Cause it's like it's only us that's doing this shit, and if you're on TikTok and if you're on
Now
Instagram,
you know if
and
you're talking about white women, you know they ain't got no ass to be doing
but the
nobody
point
stealing challenge. So
one
that's why it would be black women.
one is what I'm saying is when you got other countries, that's why they think of us the way they do. Cause all you see is nigga shit. And I
It's more pushed on them,
but that's why
not just us.
that's I'm it's cool. And I mean I'm not gonna be here to be a killjoy, but like damn, like can we get a something else challenge? Can we get, what I'm saying? Like
Start a
why is this a
challenge.
challenge now?
Mr. TikTok, start a challenge.
I ain't got no
I'm
followers.
just saying,
I
you
ain't got,
can start a
I ain't
challenge.
got I ain't got but 600 followers. That ain't gonna help.
Well, you think everybody got all them followers overnight? Unless you was just already famous. Gonna start you a challenge. I don't know what you gonna do. What you gonna do? What kind of challenge?
the run away from my
I
wife challenge. My wife crazy. C certified C crazy.
I ain't crazy. Just you can start a new challenge.
No,
Yeah.
Start something positive for black men.
I always do. Don't nobody like that shit.
Make
That
it cook.
shouldn't stop you.
Oh,
As
I
long
ain't
as you got
gonna stop you.
as long as you got one or two people, hey. I mean,
Hey,
think about the first black dude that did the little frolicking, Black Boy Joy, where they was frolicking. It took off, and that was
I,
positive. See, see,
I ain't want to
see.
frolic. I ain't want to frolic, and I liked it, but
Just do something different.
cause I'm fat. I ain't want to
Oh, you can
frolic.
do it. Black men enjoying flowers, and you buy yourself some flowers and sniff them. See, start you a
Oh,
challenge.
yeah. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot and be like smelling the flowers
Exactly. I'll show
and be
you
like,
doing your own little
black
self
men
care.
enjoying the flowers and smell them.
Thank you. See, start you something positive.
This has been another episode.
Or black men journaling, writing down their feelings. See, you know these
Big
ideas
boy
gonna come off the
banter.
dome. Baby.
I appreciate my two guests. Consider Monique a
Mm-hmm.
friend. I consider Miss Conway
Yes.
An
a
enemy,
friend
an
by.
antagonist.
Look, I already got everybody on Facebook thinking you hate me. Like people literally think you hate me, and I haven't said a goddamn thing.
Yeah, and I won't
So,
respond other than saying mean shit because I don't care what they say.
I'm so weak.
We know the truth.
it's like every goddamn post, and I just be like, oh, I'm so happy I'm healing. Life is great. She'll get on the post and say, fuck your healing. And I'd be like,
I'm the antagonist.
why are you
Like,
smiling
what you
on that
healing
picture? You
for?
shouldn't be smiling.
What you healing for?
Yeah, why you healing? What you healing
I
for?
see
Why
too
are you
many of your
smiling?
I'm so weak.
How many people like? Why she liking your picture? You ain't cute anyway. It's
I
just
don't care
stuff
who
like
likes
that. And I
it.
just
I'll be like, That's why you going bald at the top. That's what I'm gonna say. But anyway, this has been another episode of Big Boy Banter. I'm Catrice. This has been Monique, and that has been
on that note, we
Marjavia.
do this
We'll
outro.
see y'all on the next week's episode. Bye.
Peace.
Forget you.
Yeah, I
Bye.
ended your show.
Forget you. Forget you did. Bye. Bye. I kicked him out just to say she ain't shit, and y'all get to understand what I go through. She ain't shit, and this is what I go through. And y'all pray for me because she gonna probably come in here and beat my ass. Just that she's just crazy. She still y'all can't see her. She is still in the waiting room acting crazy. Now she's finna come in this room. And so on that note, y'all have a
Hey Jay, play that track.